What? What? This is huge. Like, for a video that's not going to be one of the longest ones I've ever made, this is like ridiculous as far as a comment that I'm responding to. This is, how am I going to do this in not too much time? Let's find out. Okay, yesterday I made a video called Hair Loss Victim. This isn't fair, social injustice. So Maxwell Smart left a comment, and here's what he said. Quote, "Great video, Nick. I agree with you that we all have personal issues, height, weight, speech impediments, learning disabilities, etc. that cause us grief. Some are easier to handle than others. Some people never find the mechanism to do so. You speak about being or not being the victim. I think that topic in itself would be worthy of a video of its own. For those people who have always been the victim, they may have no idea how to get out of that role." End quote. Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Now, if you've been following me for a long time, you'll know that for a while I was really big into talking about this, and then it kind of lost luster. I think it's time for us to really camp out on this. This is really the fundamental way of thinking about all of this for me. So we need to cover this. Now, what we want to start out with is I've got a list of things that separate people who are what I call victors versus those who are victims. I believe, just like the whole concept of if you don't allow people to offend you, if you take away their right to emotionally affect you, that's a good indication that your hair loss simply won't bother you. Yeah, you're going to lose your hair, but it just simply won't bother you. It won't limit you. It won't affect who you are in a negative way. In fact, only in a positive way. So let's get started. Just kind of a side-by-side comparison to kind of know the characteristics of those victims versus victors. And if you recognize what the negative aspects are, you can think, well, I don't want to be that way anymore. Let's do this other thing instead. Let me meditate and focus on this right way to be. So let's get started. So a victor is someone who compliments other people. And hopefully you can see that that's what I aim to do in my videos. I intend to build people up. And meanwhile, people who are victims, that are criticizing others, which goes back to the concept of people who in the comment sections are the ones who saying that I'm ugly and I need to shave my head or get on Propecia. They're victims. They don't feel good about themselves. They're bringing negativity with them instead of being like me. And the second thing is someone who's victorious embraces change, but someone who's a victim fears change, which again goes back to so many people who show up in the comment sections. You know, they're saying, oh no, I'm losing my hair, I'm freaking out, what do I do? And they're looking for this magical solution that they're not going to find. And those people are not cool with accepting that we can change from within and overcome it without having to save our hair to begin with. I'm all about embracing change. I would hope that's obvious in my videos. That's a common theme of what I do. The next one, people who are victorious forgive other people, and people who are victims hold grudges, which is yet another easy reason why it's easy for me to not be offended, because I'm constantly in the mindset of I'm ready to forgive anyone at all times. So, you know, how can you offend me if I'm like forgiven you before you've even offended me? Like, but yeah, it only makes sense that if you're holding grudges, you're not going to be a happy person, and you could even hold, I don't know, become a better person. You know, why me, God? Why am I losing my hair, right? Next is someone who's victorious is always learning versus a victim thinks they already know everything. That's why I like this ongoing conversation about hair loss, because, I mean, I'm learning with you a lot of this stuff. Next thing, someone who's victorious accepts responsibility, but someone who is a victim blames others for their failures. You know, and even in the title, you know, this isn't fair, why me? You know, someone like me, I'm not saying this isn't fair. I'm not saying why me. You know, I put that in the title for a reason, to kind of draw in people who think that way, so you can realize, you know what, if you think that way now, you're only going to think that the rest of your life. You're going to find new and even worse ways to think, why me? I'm the victim, this isn't fair. Next thing, someone who's victorious has a sense of gratitude, whereas a victim has a sense of entitlement. Kind of the same concept. But when you see me in my videos, you see someone who's grateful for what he has, not bitter about what he doesn't have, and finding ways to overcome the obstacles that are in front of me. And then lastly, someone who's victorious is going to set goals and develop plans, whereas a victim never sets goals. Again, going back to the people who show up in the comment section, basically when I try to explain to them, look, this hair loss thing, unless you're going to take Propecia or get a hair transplant, It's not going to get better on its own, and it's a matter of accepting yourself, accepting that as a positive identity trait instead of a negative one. But yet those people just get upset. For me, it's this simple. The people who are going to get through this internally are going to be victorious people. They're going to have the mindset of these things I just named. And then the victims are just never going to get over it, or it's going to take them years to finally slowly understand, oh yeah, Nick was right. It really is about being victorious, not a victim. Lastly, just as a bonus, let me remind you of Nick Shell's top 10 list of masculine traits based on society's perception. I think this has a lot to do with it too. Let me just close with this. Number 1, a man is confident. He believes in himself. Number 2, he respects women and helps his fellow man. He loves others as much as himself. Number 3, he finds identity in his unique skill set. He's aware of what he's good at. Number 4, he's healthy and active. He eats right and exercises. Number 4, he's decisive. He can make a quick decision even when it's a tough one. Number 6, he's committed, especially to family and career. Number 7, he's a leader. He knows how to manage and motivate other people. Number 8, good communicator. He can make complicated concepts seem simple. And number 9, he's funny. He knows how to use humor as an effective social tool. And then lastly, number 10, he's emotionally intelligent. He doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve, nor does he keep all of his emotions bottled up inside. So there you go. That's the most help you're ever going to get. Everything I ever say about hair loss and helping you overcome this is going to come down to everything in this video, which took less than 7 minutes of your life.